Hi, I'm Tina Mani, the CEO and founder of YFret, and I'm talking to Nishant. And I met Nishant as the head of brand customization at Proline. Proline has been a customer of ours for retargeting customers with personalized messages. Hello Nishant, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for having us on board.
Yeah, I would love to get a brief introduction about you first, and then we can get started.
So great. I was with Proline. I headed the business unit that dealt with customization of sportswear. I also handled all of marketing, including digital marketing there. Prior to Proline, I was with Practo. I headed their offline marketing segment.
Mhm.
And then I've worked with Runners for Life, which was a sports management firm. I was an entrepreneur for about 4 years before uh, I embarked on this journey to find different verticals. So I've worked across different verticals, different domains in the last 15 odd years. Like to say, CEO to janitor, pretty much everything else has been covered under that piece. It's been an interesting time, interesting experiences at least for now.
Great. Thank you very much. And it's really interesting that you worked on both the digital side as well as the store side. So nowadays with COVID and with the recent times, I think customer experience has been across both the channels equally. So I would love to get your opinion on omni-channel e-commerce, omni-channel journey, customer journey. So what does omni-channel mean to you?
Uh, so there was a time when retailers focused only on in-store experiences and how do you keep the store nice and bright and how do you get consumers to walk into your store, right?
Yeah.
The definition of a customer turned to be consumer and how he or she kind of consumes products and services from you in the quickest possible way. What has happened today, thanks to COVID, even though it's a really bad thing that happened to us, but what has happened is that customers today now have been able to spend a little more time able to browse across different apps, different service providers to see where they get the maximum benefit for or bang for their buck.
Yeah.
In terms of omni-channel, with the country opening up, internet penetration, thanks to, well, UCGO, we've been able to grow far more. And more consumers from tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 cities are now online. Uh, what I'm discovering more and more on this journey, and which is interesting, is that customers now walk into the store, experience the product, look for something similar online because they like the product, but they didn't like the color, and they're able to look for it, which means that customers now have more patience than they had in the past. Uh, when I would walk into a store, the first three things I would see, I would buy because it is faster. But now customers are able to spend a little more time because they come out less frequently as before, so they have a little more time to be able to spend. So going forward, I think the play is omni-channel. I don't think it's an option anymore, which means that and omni-channel hyper-local is the way forward. Which means you place. So, for example, if you place an order in Bangalore and you have a store in Koramangala and the customer is around the Koramangala belt, it makes more sense to be able to deliver it from the Koramangala store to that customer almost instantaneously. Uh, what does that give you is not that one sale that you've had, but a great customer experience. Today we've moved past saying how do I drive that extra one sale number. What we are now talking about is we're talking about NPS scores, right? We've never talked about NPS scores in our lives, but we talk about NPS scores, customer delight. We are trying to be next day morning delivery at your house at 8 o'clock in the morning if you place an order at 11 o'clock tonight. It's never happened to us before, right? And I think omnichannel plays a significant role in this. I think more brands now will start putting muscle behind omnichannel. In the past, omnichannel was a fun word to use because, oh, we are also omnichannel, right? But today, omnichannel is put to the real test.
Yes.
And it's an interesting customer journey to see what will happen in the future in this, at least.
Thank you. So one observation I have is that during the COVID time, the people were naturally interacting in a very different way with the stores because the availability was not very predictable. So people would call up or WhatsApp the local stores and check the availability first before they set out. Mostly because they didn't want to make a trip that was not worthwhile. So that also leads to a little bit of higher expectation where the customer wants, when he walks in, he expects to take home something, like you said. He doesn't want to go back empty-handed. The conversational aspect to commerce has started now, because instead of just coming to the store and interacting, people are interacting even while they're at home with the store guy. So that's been a very interesting observation I noticed. The use of WhatsApp, and the stores have been willing to share their WhatsApp numbers with the customers, and they have already been doing sort of a semi-digital transaction with the customers on in their own way.
So what's happened with WhatsApp and what is very interesting is 5 years ago or 4 years ago, store managers gave out mobile numbers ad hoc. Customer he knows would come in once a couple of months, would have a store manager's number, very impromptu, send a message saying new stock has arrived, I think you will like this. And this is all done out of self-interest.
Yeah,
There was no process to the madness because I'm a little more enthusiastic than, say, another store manager. I would go one extra step, right, to delight a few of my regular customers.
yeah,
Now, what uh, what conversational commerce has done to us is we're forcing that interaction with the customer on a structured method. When I say forcing, forcing has a negative connotation to it, but it means that there's a possibility for the customer to be able to reach out and find answers to quick questions that they have. There is no need to wait on the other end to see if it's available, when, what color is it available, what size is it available, because you have 16 different kinds of questions you would ask somebody for a piece of apparel, right, or shoes, or whatever it is,
yeah,
right? Uh, to be able to build structure to it, I think is far more important. And I think conversation just makes it simpler. The idea of typing stuff down seems to be, as much as we like it, we like our snake games on Nokia phones, but I think conversation is the way to the future, and that's why we're doing this over video and calls, right? And we're not texting stuff down because this is nicer, easier, feels more personal.
yeah,
Uh, but the evolution of conversations have to be multiple languages, different dialects, etc., for the system to pick up. Uh, because we are no longer talking about tier one Koramangala or crowds in Delhi or Bombay. We are talking about a widespread crowd across India, tier two, tier three, and tier four. And we are saying, what is that delta more that we can do for that customer? Can he talk to me in Bengali, or can he talk to me in whatever language that he speaks in,
yeah,
right? With whatever accent that we speak in, and it's an amazing experience to watch you guys build a product for somebody in West Bengal whose accent is very, very different from the somebody in Calcutta is interesting. And I mean, having said that, I've traveled so much that I've noticed accent changes across the period of time. So it's an interesting play to be able to deliver to those customers. So anybody who builds a great voice product that will integrate all of this will win, because voice at some point will pick up far more, just like how data came into play, right? I mean,
yeah,
who thought emails on the phone was useful?
yeah,
Um, People didn't install it in the beginning, but now we can't do without emails on the phone. I think it'll take over at some point. That will start picking up and it will
yeah,
grow. And unfortunately, the growth will be a hockey stick. It will not be steady. So
yeah.
suddenly it will burst. Like it's like another crisis that we have there. So we'll be able to grow that.
Yeah. The interesting thing about conversations and commerce, the combination is that you're trying to blend. So right now, just using WhatsApp is a suboptimal way of interacting, right? Because you have your products in the store, and then you have a mental image of them, and then you're maybe uploading some images, and then you're talking on WhatsApp. So it's a little bit of like combining two, three channels sort of randomly and not very conveniently. I think now the new thing that's going to come up is you have your catalog, you have your medium of communication, which ideally is voice, like you said, because it gives access to the entire population, right? It's like my father, my grandfather, anybody can use it. They don't need to understand menus and navigations, which are built for a little bit more digital savvy audience today. One is combining the naturality of communication, and the second is the extent of information that can be provided in the same go. That is the catalog, especially if it's personalized to each customer. Then can I see the catalog and can I have a conversation with my local store at the same time. I think that's really gold.
So what we've done at Proline, or we tried at Proline when I was there, and I actually just left. So what we tried to do was uh, personalize products to customers. You'd hear my dog barking for no reason in the background because he's bored. But Prakul, we tried to personalize communication to all our customers. We didn't want to send you men's clothes, right? We tried to at least have some splits in what we sent.
Yeah.
For example, if you bought a T-shirt from us, we would like to send you your next communication should be about track pants or shorts. It should not be about T-shirts again because as a consumer you're looking at it and saying, I've bought a T-shirt today. What do I buy next? Now, can I get this to be simpler to be able to execute on mass audience scale is what we were trying to build at that time,
Yes.
right? Uh, with voice commerce, it makes life easier because you can say that you bought a T-shirt and the person remembers rather than read, open an email, read, open a text, read, right? Uh, if you're able to get the consumers to interact with you without too many clicks, ideally one click, right? I mean, our gold standard is one click.
Yeah.
Let's say we are not at one click and we are at five, right? Can we optimize that to three? What this does is it at least reduces the number of people who bounce out. As marketers, at least for me, and somebody who runs a business in this segment, uh, as much as my customer is able to get in touch with me frictionless and able to get information, that customer is mine, and it works for us. And like you said, right, language is prima facie the most important thing. Uh, but you know what? Marketers like me keep having a wish list. We will look at a product and say there are five different things that are not on the product. Uh, Rather than take the product, use it, and like destroy it to see what is in it, what can I really use? Because I've used 20% of YFret's functionalities, right? Because that's all I needed for all that was built.
Right.
And we would always ask for more, right? So I think voice commerce will exist, actually has existed, will grow far more.
Yeah.
And that's the next avatar of the text. And there will be another avatar after this and another avatar after this. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's interesting to
Absolutely.
see that growth curves at these ODs.
Right. So it's interesting that you mentioned the bar being very high now, because now instead of browsing on the website where you keep scrolling, you do multiple clicks, you're on voice. So you need to get the right product immediately, right? So our personalization engine is built to be real time, which means that we understand you as a customer right when you're interacting, and in real time we're adjusting the products that are shown to you. So as a marketer, you don't have to worry about segmenting and creating like thousands of segments for millions of customers. It's just you just leave it to the AI engine, and we will do the right match for you. So once that match is done, the customer is more likely to adopt it and not go off, as you said. And then on top of it, when we add the conversation, there's also an avenue for transitioning that seamlessly into a maybe a store assistant, right? Maybe the customer says that, hey, I've shortlisted these three, but I'd still like to ask a few more questions. So either he can record his own inputs, which are like loosely formatted, and say, I want this. Maybe there's something not in the store, and he can say, hey, I want this, but do you have it in short sleeves or something like that, right? And then he can also be notified by the store assistant. So we are trying to create a two-way engine where you have the first of all the best possible match for the customer digitally without a touch point, without a physical like a real conversation. Second is a store assistant app where the store assistant can also see the shortlist and get back to complete the a few things that were not done digitally. So that's really what we're doing.
So what is even more interesting is, let's say I short out of 100 products, I shortlist three,
Yeah.
right? And I let it be on the app and I walk away.
Yes.
There's a probability as a marketer for me to be able to call you, reach out to you, and tell you you shortlisted three.
Yeah.
Here's the price that's available for you for today by the end of the day, right? Here's a
Yeah.
flash sale for you. Uh, this is not just conversions, but you'll also be able to drive traffic to a store if you like to. You'll say if you want to try the three products at this moment of time, they are
Yeah.
available at the closest store near you. And this is the address of the store, and this is the map location of the store.
Yeah.
What it drives to the consumer is saying that these guys are not somebody who just gave me a choice, but also are proactively reaching out to me. And that I think is a larger take because customers who are shortlisting free products are normally dropping off after spending so much time because they have something and they've
Yeah.
forgotten and they'd like
Yes.
to be reminded again. Nobody's spending an hour on your website looking at products and then walking away, right? Because uh, if you're a brand page, you have X number of products of your particular brand only.
Yeah.
So they're a loyalist, and that's why they spend that much time with you.
Yeah.
For loyalists, there hasn't been an engine to be able to service them online. Very personalized. Today there is.
Yeah.
I mean, today we used to have loyalty points. We used to have all of those in the past, right? And like our credit card points, I've never used credit card
Yeah,
points,
people don't
but
believe in them because you just, first of all, it takes so long to accumulate the points. And second, you don't really believe that you're going to get much benefit. It's like you buy 12 clothes and then you get one free. But then, like you
yeah,
said, I'm not going to buy 12 clothes from the same store usually.
correct. And that's the case, right? We'll have to be honest here, saying nobody's going to buy 12 clothes from the same store.
Yeah.
But are we able to get the customer to buy, if he's buying one, get the customer converted to two?
Yeah.
Is there a way for us to show the customer there are, out of the 600 different SKUs that are available, 14 are the one that is useful to them?
Yeah.
Because that makes their life far more better. They know that we are able to understand them better. Our customers reach out to us because they trust us.
Yeah.
And that's why they look at us, right? I mean, they don't do that just because they have time. They do because they like the brand, they trust the brand, and I think that this engine will solve. It will solve for a lot of credibility, which I think at today's market, to be able to say, if you walk into the store, you will be safe.
Yeah.
That credibility driver, the AI engine also drives. Uh, so across the entire band.
Yeah, exactly. And the customer, like you said, the like customer values his time for one. Second is the customer values the brand. So if you can serve both at the same time, right? You help him make his choice without spending too much time. You proactively inform him, and you bring him to the store. So there's no reason why the customer would go shipping around too much. I mean, at least to the extent that you can possibly stop the customer. So
Exactly.
that's the goal. And the other thing, like you said, is when the store has already done so much of effort to make things safe and make sure, and the customer has taken the trouble to come take that big step of walking into the store. I think it's on the onus of the store to fulfill his needs so that he doesn't walk away empty-handed. Right? So
Oh, that's 100%, right? I mean, uh, a single most biggest responsibility as a brand that we have is to be able to service the customer's need
yeah,
for the product segment that we are in, right? If It's all right to be out of stock of a particular item if you can have that delivered to the customer.
yes,
It's very important to be able to give them alternatives, right? Because the customer has put an effort to either come on your website, spend some time with you, come into your store and spend time with you. Uh, the days of customer delight, I think today are just understood. These are things that you have. This is minimum MVPs, right? Like viable products. You have to do this in order for you to be there. Otherwise, don't exist, right? And
right,
consumers now believe that that's their right. And I, for sure, as a marketer, believe that when a customer walks into your store, uh, do what it takes to get that sale. Uh,
yeah,
I mean, reasonably, but do what it takes to get that sale because he's walked into your store, he's got interest, he likes you. So help as much as we can. And if see, as marketers, we're looking for help from all directions, right? As much as we don't like saying it, anything that gives us an edge, anything that gives us a 1, 2, 3% chance, we'll take it because for us that is growth.
yeah,
We want to see not just numbers grow, but NPS scores grow, customers being delighted and coming back. Because in apparel, the lifetime value is really high. I mean, you're going to buy apparel for 30 years,
yeah,
40 years, whatever, right? And your styles generally don't change too drastically, at least in my age group. So I've bought the same kind of clothes for the last 5, 6 years, and I think
yeah.
I'll buy the same for the next 10 years. So I think that the lifetime value is high, that there is enough effort that can go into this to be able to keep that moving.
Yeah. Yeah. And about the just to extend that point about fulfilling the customer's requirement when he comes to the store. So we have implemented a digital kiosk where because we understand that the stores cannot possibly keep every possible item in stock. There's space constraints, there's time constraints. There's also the prediction problem, right? You don't know, you can't predict what your customers are going to buy the season exactly. So the idea of a digital kiosk is to be able to showcase uh, all your catalog in the store and keep certain products which are showcased for that particular time at the best effort. So then when the customer walks in, he can browse the catalog in the at the digital kiosk. He can make his shortlist, and let's say you fulfill some percentage of it at the store right there. You can always get back and have them delivered to the customer afterwards. So that's really good optimization of your inventory management also, because you just need to do a best effort prediction and then fulfill later. And customers are okay with that because people are on ordering online where they have to wait for a couple of days sometimes. And so if they come to the store, even if they don't get 100% of what they ask, can they be assured that they'll get it within like a day or two? So that's the
So I think the part of having some inventory in the store versus some not in the store, I think is a very valid one, right? Purely because let's assume you have 1,000 SKUs, you'd have to keep five different sizes in each. You'd
yeah
have to keep two sets in each.
yeah
There's a lot of redundancy in the system, not because the system is not optimized, but because I think that's how it is. I mean, unfortunately, that's how it is.
yeah
Rack space is limited. Now, we were looking at an endless aisle concept at some point at Proline, saying,
mhm,
how do we display this to the customer? Um, right? Is there a simple way to be able to optimize this, be able to show the customer that here are 50,000 things that we've got. Uh, you want to touch and feel, here's a product that is similar to the product that you want to buy. So what does the customer want in the store? He walks in to touch and feel the product. He wants to try sizes, right?
yeah
He or she wants to try sizes. What if you're able to fulfill both those requirements with different sets of apparel that the customer can wear, touch, and feel, and have the product delivered at home?
yeah
Uh, let's say if the product is not available in the store and it's available only in our warehouse, what if we say the cost of shipping is on us,
yeah
or the inventory cost that is some cost that is that we would give the customer a discount? It helps us optimize resources better, financial resources better, and also delights the customer on that end.
yeah
Uh, I, I for one believe that when a customer walks into the store to buy something, he comes in. When I say he, because we primarily sell a lot of menswear, but he walks in to be able to touch and feel product,
yes
not necessarily take it home with him in a bag. Because I mean, you're paying for a carry bag these days. So if there's a way to get it to the customer, fantastic. If it's next day morning, it's all right. I think there is a huge play available there because then your store size can get smaller. There's no reason for you to buy get a 50,000 square feet store,
yeah
right? You can optimize the store better or have experience zones in the store, and I think that's far more important to have experience zones than to have anything else.
yeah exactly
Because then you can have meet and greets, you can have engagements, you can have running clubs, you can have a lot of stuff in that empty space. I'm not saying give the empty space away. I'm saying use it to do fun stuff in the store that will drive engagement.
exactly.
Yeah.
Also, you can have more stores. You can have like much smaller size pop-up stores in multiple places. Like, for example, you see these tiny ones in the airport, right? They don't carry much, but the idea is just to get that touch and feel, like you said, for the customer.
So
So
we were
that's
exploring the opportunity of being able to do micro stores in a lot of places.
mhm.
Again, right? Cost benefit analysis, trying to put this in then COVID. So there was a lot of exploration done to see how do you do micro stores
Mhm.
that will also cater to engagement modules across. And
Mhm.
that was an interesting piece for us to be able to work on.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, I for one learned a lot about this industry. I don't come from retail, so I learned about a lot about retail just surely by trying to see different aspects. Why are these stores so big? Why can't they be smaller? What
Yeah,
happens at the store? And I primarily looked at it from a consumer end because I would bat for the customer, right? So when I walk into the store, I would want to know why is the machine here and not somewhere else.
yeah,
How do we optimize our inventory better? So I spent a lot of time primarily on weekends trying to understand consumer behavior and what they would buy
mhm.
and how would they make buying decisions. Um, and then try and implement that. So to be able to say how do we market a certain product or service, or how do we get more people to walk into your store safely, which is far important for us.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that was a really interesting conversation. So I think COVID has had the impact of sort of accelerating the digital, landscape like really quickly. We've seen a lot of everybody's become aware of the fact that digital and voice, all sorts of innovations have become, it's like the necessity is mother of invention, right? So that's what we're seeing around the place. So I'm very optimistic about the future of voice and about conversational interactions, voice kiosks. I think these things will all happen much faster than otherwise they would have otherwise.
Uh, COVID did that, right? It accelerated the growth of digital today.
Yeah,
Uh, right? Unfortunately, stores are still picking up all that is happening. But what we've discovered, and I think this is just the flip that we're discovering, that consumers will do both. They'll shop online and they shop offline.
yeah,
Uh, there is omni-channel is a huge play here. Uh, to be able to service customers on both ends is really important.
yeah,
And if you're building anything to do with e-commerce, shopping, etc., and adds value to consumers' life, and I think voice is there, right? As in, if you're able to add languages to it, you're able to add 20 different languages to it, whatever. If you're able to add value to customers' lives, they'll be able to use it.
yeah,
What I have noticed, at least on discovery of discovering new things, is that once you discover something interesting, right, you start to go back to it over and over again.
yeah,
Uh, right, Amazon Prime is a prime example of this. The moment I discovered next day morning shipping, I no longer plan for long term. I know that it will come tomorrow morning. Don't have to
yeah.
worry about this. So when I need
You
something,
take
I
it for
order.
granted and then you get
Yeah,
used to it.
yeah. So today, I bat for it because I like it. I say it'll come tomorrow morning, and I know it will show up tomorrow morning, right? Uh, as brands, I think it's our responsibility to build that kind of trust consistently over and over and over again. Uh, and whatever the tool required is, right? I mean, it's irrelevant what the tool is. Make customers' life easy. Consumers will come back to you on an ongoing basis. Fail the consumer once, and the consumer will not come back. So there is no room for error, right?
Yeah,
COVID ensured that every retailer which was heavily offline started moving online too, and started putting the pedal to the metal, right?
yeah,
Because in the past they would say that there's not enough on the online front, whatever. Today, there is more investment in the online front in terms of people, in terms of infra, in terms of servicing of these orders. So seller ratings have gotten to be far more valuable.
yeah,
Things of these natures, right? And consumer and customer service emails have gotten so. So we are. I have noticed, right, for some reason that when I email a customer service representative anywhere, I do not get a response. But nowadays, my response is almost instantaneous,
hmm,
right? Which means that there's more put on this. So digital definitely has grown. Thankfully, it's grown well enough, and adoption across different markets in tier two, three, and four is higher.
yeah,
Also, could be because people have gone back home for some time, right? But at least you're getting used to the fact that you can have groceries delivered at home or apparel delivered at home, and it's all right to order. Uh, your parents in the past didn't think it was okay for you to order for things.
exactly.
Uh, yeah, today I pay my father's internet bill on my phone, and he's flabbergasted because he hates it. But today he pays it. I mean, he pays it himself because he's learned how to do so.
Exactly.
I think there's a conversion that has happened for sure, and whatever aids that conversion, I mean, marketers are all for it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah. I'd go as far as saying that it was mobile first generation. There was a mobile first generation, and there's going to be a voice first generation also, because just the ease of use of it and the being getting spoiled because something is so easy to do. That's going to drive a lot of voice first customers, especially in the tier one, tier two cities, in the older generation, people who are not used to navigating menus. They'll find that voice is the easiest medium, and I'm sure that's going to like bring a big revolution. That's going to be the next revolution in the shopping. That's
For
what.
sure, right? I mean, you'll have to. Google Assistant has made life easy for a lot of people. Like
Yes.
I now look at my phone and say, "Find me something," and it finds me something, right?
Yeah.
So it helps, uh, and it's convenient, and I can do this while I drive, while I have to go somewhere, whatever. I don't have to stop,
Yeah.
look down, and type. I can do this on the move. So it's
Exactly.
been helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. It was great talking to you. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank
So
you for the
what's
opportunity.
next for you? What are you? What are the other things that you look forward to?
So I am currently trying to help a friend build something in a sustainable space. I've been looking at sustainability as a medium, recycling as a medium for growth.
Wow.
I really believe that thanks to COVID, sustainability and recycling will now take a front seat.
Mhm.
It will be a default buying choice for a lot of people, or it will start to matter to a lot of us because
Yeah.
how we utilize our planet, right? Uh, I also believe that it's about time that we started to respect what we have. So we're trying to build something in a sustainable space. We should be hopefully up and running in about a couple of weeks to be able to see how that goes. And then I'll put out some content on this, trying to ask for help from everybody and anybody. Because what I've realized is that in the recycling and sustainability space, if you're the more you talk to people, the more innovation comes out of them.
Yes.
And people is not experts in the field; it's just regular people because they tell you what they really want. Right? Consumers tell you what they want. There was a time when you built product and consumer bought. Today, the consumer tells us what they want, and we build product accordingly. Right? And that's the new change that we've seen.
Very
So we were trying
interesting.
to build a product that is that what the customer really wants rather than what I think the customer wants. I think we're trying to move away from brand manager thinking to customer really thinking. So that's an interesting couple of weeks ahead for me at least.
That's
Uh,
very interesting. Thank you. Best of luck. And I think
Thank you very
COVID
much.
has also woken up a lot of fundamental values in a lot of people. So, like you said, sustainability is one of them, and I'm sure that's going to be a very big thing going forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, eat well, live well. I mean, live healthy
Yes.
and exercise. Right? You can't ask for better than these. And COVID kind of did that to us. It gave us enough time to be able to go, to able to work out with the family, to whatever, right? And
Yeah.
showed us that if you do things together at home, you start to enjoy it a little better.
Mm.
So it's been helpful. Uh, I must say. I think not just COVID. I think generally with climate change, with rains in appropriate times. Uh, it's been a tricky situation for a lot of us,
Yes.
right? Floods in the last couple of years
Yeah.
has been a hard one for us, right? And it's about time we took action.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Great talking to you.
Thank you very much, Ina. Wonderful talking to you. See you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.